We continue to track Hurricane Matthew as it pushes toward Florida's Space Coast. You are looking now at video from Nassau in the Bahamas with a roof ripped right off the house as this moved through the area yesterday as a powerful Category 4 storm. Wind, rain, a significant storm surge, and all of that right now is closing in on the Florida coastline. In fact, I want to just mention this here real quick. So while the eye of the hurricane is still just offshore, the western eye wall is brushing the coastline. As soon as we show you the radar, you'll see this. Cape Canaveral has just gusted to 100 miles an hour with a sustained wind in the 70s. And then Satellite Beach, which is just south of Cape Canaveral, has gusted to 88 with a sustained wind at 69. And there's many other locations, New Smyrna Beach, Ormond Beach, that are starting to see those gusts reach well into the 60s now. So here is our storm. Okay. It's moving to the north-northwest. Bernie is going to show you all the details on the particulars of this storm. But what I want to do is briefly focus here on what is happening with this center of circulation. So I'm going to bring it to the latest update. This is the latest image that we have right now in this storm. I'll go ahead and zoom in a little bit more so we'll be able to see the eye wall even better. Now, what we did have here was a smaller eye wall. It was measuring about 8 miles in diameter. That was 10, 12 hours ago. What happens sometimes with these storms is you get something called an eye wall replacement cycle, and what ends up happening is that initial eye wall fades and you get a new one that builds around it. So here's the new one. You can see it. Look at how intense that outer eye wall is. So when we talk about the western side of the eye wall brushing Cape Canaveral, well, here's Cape Canaveral, here's the eye wall, right? So that part is on shore. So there's where the hurricane force winds are happening now. And this is going to start happening too up the coastline, because this is moving north-northwest. So you take the coastline, position north-northwest, and it still parallels the coast. So that's where we see some of those very, very strong winds. I can give you a quick distance measurement here. Let's do this as quick as we can here. So out from Cape Canaveral to the center, maybe 25, 26 miles. But to that eye wall, again, it is right there off the coast. Even as you move a little bit farther to the north, 2, 3, 4 miles, that's where all the strongest winds are. All right, hurricane warnings. We've got some updates for you here. We can show them to you on Omni One. So Port St. Lucie to Vero Beach, all the way north to Jacksonville, Savannah, Charleston, still hurricane warnings. West Palm Beach downgraded to a tropical storm warning. From Fort Lauderdale south, they have dropped those latest posts and advisories that we did have in place. Still though, Orlando, hurricane warning, and we still have tropical storm issues as far back west as Tampa. Latest number in, over 307,000 people without power. In many cases, you have to wait for those winds to drop below tropical storm strength before they can start to replace the power. And also some airports still closed, and even, Bernie, the airports that are going to open today or try to open, they've had individual airlines canceling for the whole day, saying they're done.
And of course, we're going to continue to see effects downstream because of the airport delays across Florida, so travel is going to be a little tough today. All right, Laura told you exactly where this storm is. I want you to now focus on wind direction. It is all about wind direction when you're talking about the worst part of a hurricane here. Wind direction and, of course, wind speed. You will take note, once we get south of Cape Canaveral toward Vero Beach, down toward Fort Lauderdale, the winds now are coming in from the west. So now we are getting a breeze that goes from land to ocean. Storm surge is now over. Seas will continue to be rough. It is north and northeast where you're getting that onshore flow, and not only the piling up of the water, but pushing it because of that northeast wind. And look at the sustained winds now. 47 miles per hour Cape Canaveral. Daytona Beach, north-northeast, up to 38. This is going to increase, and it's that northeast wind that will continue to drive the water in. Red is where we're going to have the worst conditions. I suspect our hurricane force winds are going to be a little closer to the coast, probably from about 95, Interstate 95, toward the coast itself. The absolute worst conditions now, as we go over the next couple of hours, will be from the Cape up toward Daytona Beach as the storm parallels the coast. North-northwest, as Laura talked about, doesn't mean that it's moving out. It means that it's going parallel to the coast of Florida, because that's exactly the way it is oriented. Maximum sustained winds at 120 miles per hour. This move along the coast and then paralleling the Georgia coast, South Carolina coast, means significant impacts all the way up toward Myrtle Beach and probably in the southeastern North Carolina as we go over the next couple of days. Worst of the storm surge now. Cocoa Beach toward Daytona Beach. Hurricane Matthew, scary on the radar and paralleling the Florida coast. Stay tuned to the AccuWeather Network.